The Maghe Sangranti enthusiasm quickly turned into despair by midday earlier yesterday as the tragic news of Yeti Airlines crash spread across the country. The government has responded by declaring a public holiday today to mourn the tragic incident and also forming a 5-member investigation commission which, in the face of the clear weather, will look into either engine failure or human error among other factors. Good morning, I'm Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. The process of handing over the identified bodies to the family members start in Pokhara. 68 dead bodies recovered from the crash site. As of now, all programs related to Maghe and earthquake date cancelled. Lack of trust develops in the ruling alliance due to the differing stand taken by Prime Minister Dahal and CPN-UML on the position of the President and the Speaker. Congress eyes one of the posts. At least 10 people killed and dozens others wounded in a bomb attack during a service at a Protestant church in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. And Barcelona pocket Spanish Super Cup with a dominating display against Real Madrid. Youngster Gavi stars to give manager Xavi his first cup. Search and rescue operations have begun since early morning to recover the remaining victims of the plane crash in Pokhara yesterday. 68 dead bodies have been recovered so far from the accident site of the Yeti Airlines aircraft. The police have informed that families of the deceased have started collecting the bodies since early this morning. Search is on for the remaining 4 individuals who were on board the ill-fated aircraft. Search is on the aircraft that had taken off from Kathmandu at 10:32 a.m. with 68 passengers and 4 crew members on board crashed in the gorge of Sethi River. 35 bodies have been kept at the post-mortem department of the Western Regional Hospital in Pokhara. The families of the deceased have gathered at the accident site and hospital premises since early morning to recover the bodies. The Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal has informed that 53 Nepali and 15 foreign nationals, including 5 Indian citizens, have lost their lives in the plane crash yesterday. Among the dead bodies retrieved, the identification of 23 bodies, including that of 2 foreigners, has been confirmed. Dead bodies of crew members, foreigners and unidentified victims are being brought to Kathmandu today. This is the first accident of the ATR Nepal aircraft in Nepal. Rescue efforts were deemed difficult as the crash site was in the gorge of Sethi River. The government has formed a 5-member investigation commission to look into the Yeti Airlines plane crash. The emergency cabinet meeting held at the Prime Minister's official residence in Balwatar yesterday formed the investigation commission under the coordination of former Secretary Nagendra Ghimire. Retired captains of the Nepal Army Deepak Prasad Bastola and Sunil Thapa, along with aircraft repair and maintenance engineer Ekraj Thapa, have been named members of the investigation commission, while Joint Secretary of the Ministry of Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation, Buddhi Sagar Lamichhane, has been assigned as the member secretary of commission. Yesterday's cabinet meeting expressed condolences to the families of victims of the plane crash and decided to give a public holiday today. Likewise, the cabinet meeting also directed all the airline companies to conduct a technical test on all the aircraft of domestic flights. Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Bishnu Paudel informed that the cabinet also decided to establish a call center to help the families of the passengers to collect information regarding the victims. Earlier, Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal and Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister Rabi Lamichhane reached the control room of the Tribhuvan International Airport to inquire about the situation and directed concerned entities and authorities to fully cooperate in the rescue efforts. The entire nation is grieving with the news of the tragic plane crash of Yeti Airlines yesterday. The accident that occurred on a clear day was one of the surprising factors, as previous such accidents had occurred amid bad weather. Aviation experts are hinting at engine trouble among a number of other factors that led to the accident, while we are trying to bring some of the details related with the accident. The NYT 691NA ANC aircraft of Yeti Airlines had taken off from the Trivandrum International Airport at 10:32 a.m. yesterday. The aircraft was in contact with the Pokhara Tower till 10:50 a.m. The flight duration from Kathmandu to Pokhara is 25 minutes, which means that barely 7 minutes were remaining for the aircraft to land. There were 53 Nepali nationals, 15 foreigners, 4 crew members, along with 4 children on board the ill-fated aircraft. The foreign nationals comprised 5 Indians, 4 Russians, 2 Koreans, and 1 each Australian, French, and Argentine national. The aircraft crashed near the Pokhara airport in the gorge of Sethi River. Local people and the firefighters were not able to douse the fire. 2 choppers were also mobilized for rescue operation, while 68 bodies have been pulled out of the incident site so far. Rescue teams of Nepal Army, Armed Police Force, Nepal Police and rescue team at Pokhara airport were mobilized. There was a massive throng of people at the incident site, but the immediate rescue could not be made due to the nature of the crash site. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal and Home Minister Rabi Lamishane had reached Trivandrum International Airport immediately after the incident to gather information. An emergency cabinet meeting also decided to provide a public holiday today to mourn the tragic incident and has also given the directive of a thorough check-up of all the aircrafts before flight operation. Meanwhile, the relatives of victims had expressed their frustration with Yeti Airlines for their lack of initiative to take them to Pokhara. The enthusiasm of the Maghe Sangranti festival quickly turned into despair before 11 a.m. yesterday as the tragic news of Yeti Airlines plane crash started circulating through news channels and social media, sending a shockwave across the nation. The 66-seat capacity Yeti Airlines aircraft that took off from Kathmandu at 10:32 a.m. and crashed in Pokhara yesterday was carrying 68 passengers. The plane had just a few minutes left to touchdown at Pokhara airport. However, it crashed in the gorge of Sethi River at 10:50 a.m. The aircraft was supposed to land at the domestic terminal of the Pokhara International Airport, which was inaugurated just 2 weeks ago. However, the aircraft suddenly crashed into the gorge of Sethi River and burst into flames. Special teams of the Nepal Army and Armed Police Force were deployed to retrieve the dead bodies scattered at around 300 meters deep into the gorge of Sethi River. The relatives of the passengers who were waiting to receive their loved ones on the day of the festival of Maghe Sangranti suddenly found themselves in a state of shock after the unfortunate incident. The plane crash yesterday is the worst and the biggest in terms of human loss in the country's domestic aviation history. In the 63-year-old aviation history of Nepal, at least 58 air accidents have been witnessed in the domestic sector. Prior to yesterday's accident, 389 individuals had lost their lives in these accidents. The accident yesterday will once again raise questions on air safety of the country. Air travel is considered one of the safest mode of transportation. During 1960 to 1987, only 10 air accidents with 80 deaths were reported in the domestic sector in Nepal. Between 1991 to 2011, in a period of 20 years, Nepal's domestic aviation sector witnessed 32 accidents with 203 deaths. With an increase in the number of air flights and passengers, the number of accidents too have shot up. Since 2012, air accidents have been reported almost every year, with 3 accidents in 2012 as 34 people were killed in the 3 air mishaps that occurred in Jomsom, Dolpa and Bhaktapur. 2 more accidents were reported in the year 2013 in Jomsom and Simikot, fortunately without any human casualty. Likewise, in the Nepal Airlines crash that occurred in 2014 in Arghakhachi, 18 people were killed. In the year 2016, 25 people were killed in 3 different accidents that occurred in Myagdi, Kalikot and Simikot. 2 people were killed in 2017 in Lukla and Simikot, while the next year 2 more people were killed again in Simikot. An air accident in Lukla killed 3 people in the year 2019. In the Mustang Air disaster of Tara Air, 22 people were killed. In the majority of these air disasters, the committees formed have pointed out human errors as the primary reason behind the accident. A series of accidents has once again flared up the issue regarding the safety of Nepali sky, while there is a call on the government and the service provider companies to remain more vigilant in future to minimize such tragic incidents. Despite the lapse of 3 weeks since assuming office, Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has not been able to give a full shape to the government. Expansion of the Council of Ministers has been delayed because of the lack of consensus between the ruling coalition parties. The expansion of the government has grown complicated as Prime Minister Dahal has appeared flexible in allocating the post of the President or the Speaker of the House of Representatives to Nepali Congress. Meanwhile, the process of giving a full shape to the government has also been delayed because of many ministerial claims from the parties in the ruling coalition. According to the Secretariat of the Prime Minister, preparations are underway to conclude the power share for expansion of the Council of Ministers. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dahal has said that no agreement has been reached regarding the share of the positions of President and Speaker with any parties, including CPN-UML. The Prime Minister has said that an all-party meeting called for 17th of January would seek consensus on the Speaker. Speaking with editors at Balwatar yesterday, Prime Minister Dahal said that Speaker of the House of Representatives could be allocated to Nepali Congress. Prior to this, CPN-UML was understood to have secured President and Speaker when Dahal was appointed the Prime Minister. However, the equations now seem to have changed as the largest party of the House of Representatives, Nepali Congress, extended their vote of confidence to Prime Minister Dahal. The election of the Speaker of the House of Representatives is slated for this Thursday, 19th of January. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: what could be the reason for differing views on behalf of the Prime Minister and the UML regarding power sharing on the President and the Speaker? Your options are A. Crisis of trust, B. Premier's Congress leaning, and C. Complicated alliance. Voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked people in several provinces why political parties have focused on power sharing instead of addressing the needs of the general public. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
पद पोस्टको लागि व्यक्तिगत लोभले गर्दाखेरि
व्यक्तिगत स्वार्थ, पारिवारिक स्वार्थ र आफ्नो गुटको स्वार्थमा लागेको कारणले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ
अहिलेको राजनीतिक दलहरु चाहिँ पक्कै पनि कुर्सीको मात्र मोह भएको जस्तो लाग्छ।
उनीहरु आफ्नो व्यक्तिगत स्वार्थ, पार्टीगत स्वार्थको लागि नै उनीहरु तल्लिनु भएको देखिन्छ।
आफैलाई मात्रै पुर्ति तानातान गरे, हामी गरिब गुरुवालाई केही हेरेन।
Time now for international update. At least 10 people have been killed and dozens of others wounded in a bomb attack during a service at a Protestant church in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, or DRC, according to the country's army. The explosion killed at least 10 people and wounded 39 others, Army spokesman Anthony Mualushe said on Sunday. Mualushe said the attack during the Sunday service in the city of Kisindi on the border with Uganda was likely carried out by the Allied Democratic Forces, or ADF, a Ugandan armed group that has pledged allegiance to ISIL. Later on Sunday, the ISIL group claimed responsibility for the attack. The ADF, which began an uprising in Uganda but has been based in the DRC since the late 1990s. Kisindi is in a province where Congolese and Ugandan forces have launched a campaign against the ADF. It pledged allegiance to ISIL in mid-2019 and is accused of killing hundreds of villagers in frequent raids over the past 2 years. ADF attacks since April have killed at least 370 civilians and involved the abduction of several hundred more. More than 120 armed groups roam a mineral-rich eastern DRC. Many are of the legacy of regional wars that flared at the turn of the century. Up next is the weather update. Before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. The process of handing over the identified bodies to the family members start in Pokhara. 68 dead bodies recovered from the crash site. As of now, all programs related to Maghi and earthquake date cancelled. Lack of trust develops in the ruling alliance due to the differing stand taken by Prime Minister Dahal and CPN-UML on the position of the President and the Speaker. Congress eyes one of the posts. At least 10 people killed and dozens others wounded in a bomb attack during a service at a Protestant church in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. And Barcelona pocket Spanish Super Cup with a dominating display against Real Madrid. Youngster Gavi stars to give manager Xavi his first cup. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good day.